coming at you again with a lightsaber video here. Things are going to be a little different this time around. I am not reviewing any particular saber. I am making this video for anybody who is trying to get into lightsabers, wants to get a quality lightsaber like what I deal with, what a lot of people deal with, and you know, not being overwhelmed by a lot of the lingo that kind of goes around. Like I had somebody the other day on one of the forums was like, "What's a burrito?" And a burrito is basically like they can't say lightsaber in some of these, as far as I understand it, so they just use the word burrito, and that describes an empty hilt. But moving forward here, so the different types of sabers is what we're going to cover here. Now the sabers in general are single LED. As far as, you know, the basics of what you're going to get. So single in-hilt LED, then you're going to have an RGB, a tri-cree, a Asteria Neopixel, and a Profi Neopixel. Those are the most common. There are other types of soundboards out there, but, you know, in the end, those are the main ones that you're going to be going with. And I have an example of all of those right here. So what we're going to do, I have Profis, but I figure the Profi and Asteria, it's just the differences, but they do the basically the same thing. Most people would say Profi is the best, but, you know, and I would agree with that, but, you know, whatever. So we'll start off here. This is one of my first sabers. This was from Ultra Sabers. I've done a review on Ultra Sabers in the past. I'll skip all of the bashing and just go to, I love their hilts, but they really do rip you off on electronics. So I always tell people, if you're gonna do an Ultra Saber, always get an empty, and that's only if you really love the hilt and it's just not available anywhere else, then yeah, get it empty, then get on the forums, on Facebook or Reddit or wherever, and find a saber crafter that will, you know, hook it up with some sound for you. I'm actually having that done on this saber right here, my Grandmaster, because it is my first saber. I have a sentimental attachment to it. It's also Satil Shan's lightsaber. So this is a single in-hilt LED. So what we're dealing with here is, if I unscrew this, you're just going to have the soundboard in here, and then you're going to have the LED up here. The speaker is also attached to the soundboard right here. Now, this is a single LED, and basically what that means is it's just one color. This is all you're going to see. It's just a blue. When you get on Ultra Sabers, you actually have to pick that. I don't know too many other companies that do single in-hilt LEDs. Now, in the process of hooking this thing up to a blade, I also want to show you, this is your standard polycarbonate blade right here. Now, this is a 32-inch. You can get various sizes, and some of the companies will even cut, you know, custom sizes for you if you wish. But it has, here you have the polycarbonate. It has a wrap on the inside that helps to keep everything reflected and keep the light even. Reflector at the end here on the tip. The tips here, mostly glued down. You know, if it breaks off, I've seen people, you know, have them pop off while dueling. It seems like an easy enough fix. Plus, these polycarbonate blades, to get a new one, usually around like 20 bucks. So nothing too major. But I want to go ahead and hook up each one of these, because I want you to get an idea of brightness, and then at the end I'm going to put them all side by side, just to give you an idea. So we'll go down. This is in this. I don't know very many sabers, or any really, that don't have a retention screw to keep this blade in. There's probably some out there that don't use retention screws. I've just not seen them. So here we go. Now, you'll notice that there is the swing sound, but it isn't very accurate. If I move this at a very slow pace, you don't get any swing sound. I have to really hit that thing down. So this is what a single in-hilt LED looks like. And again, at the end, I will line them all up, and we'll see the differences. But I'll just lay this one right here. Keep this, well, that's probably not going to work. We'll just put it right here. So let's move on, and we'll go into RGB. Now, I took one of my boards out of one of my sabers just so you can actually see what's in it. Now RGBs are a little more they're just cleaner when it comes to the actual design. Everything's in this chassis right here. So there's your board, right? There's your power, your switch, your power button right there. There's your charger, and then these two holes right here for the screws that really push it up and allow that button to come in. Down at the bottom here, you have the speaker. I believe it's a 22 millimeter. And then over here, you have the single battery right there. Now, usually with batteries like this, some people will say don't use the in-hilt charger. With these, I recommend using the in-hilt charger. It works just fine. No issues there. So this is the RGB. Now, what is an RGB? An RGB basically is now when you get these, a lot of them are in LGTs. LGT sabers, Vire sabers, Dark Wolf, Rebel sabers, Starforge sabers. You could go on. There's several. Some are better than others. It just depends on how much they care about their business. But so RGB, and what is it? It's basically a wheel, 3 different wheels of lenses that it will go through, that allows for different colors within the LED. So with these, you basically can change it into any color you want. It has multiple sound fonts on it if you want to change the way the blade sounds. And it also plays music. I have other videos that will do these a little more in depth and show you all the sound fonts. But basically, it just, a really nice, these are my favorite dueling sabers. You'll see why here in a little bit. But we'll go ahead and we will hook this guy up. This one here is from Vire. This is a Vire saber. I built this one myself because that's what you can do at Vire. You built it from the ground up, from the pommel all the way up to the emitter. If it's your first time, it's a really nice company to go through, just because they're very fast. Tyler's very fast, and very helpful when it comes to customer service and the like. Okay. Get these all tightened up. This one has 2 retention screws, so I apologize. It'll take me a second here. Now, we'll go through, I'll show you one feature. I'll show you how the colors all change and everything. So with these, this is the same thing. You'll see it's the button. So you can see how this is in this, right? It actually makes it really cool when you want to, switch it out or whatever. It makes it really easy to disassemble these because all of the electronics are in this one chassis. So let's go ahead. All right. Now we've got the blue here. Now on these, you have a flash system on the button. So you got to go 1, 2. Oh, I did 3. 1, 2. Now you will watch as the blade will turn the different colors. And this is really what sets RGB outside of LED, or a single in-hilt LED. So we're going into a little bit of white. That goes into a lighter, more of a ice blue. And then we're going into pink, which then follows into red. And then if you want to keep it, you just tap it. So then there's red. Not really a Sith guy, but we'll stop it on red. So then there you go. That is the big difference between an RGB and a single in-hilt LED. Now, I do not own what is called a tri-cree saber. Tri-cree is exactly kind of what it sounds like. It is just 3 in-hilt LEDs, so it just allows for a brighter version of the single in-hilt LED. Now we're going to go to the big boys. So if you really want to shell out the money, or you're obsessed with lightsabers like I am, then you're going to have Asteria Neopixels and Profi Neopixels. Now everybody has their preference. Most people that I see, they really prefer Profis. That's for you to get further into. But basically what we're dealing with here, I'll show you the soundboard. Now this one, the RGB, I have to get the screws out, and I have to get the thing out. It's not that difficult, but it definitely, takes some time and a little bit of, elbow grease. So this one here is the Asteria Neopixel. Now this is your soundboard, right? Very small, very compact. There is a speaker right behind this little knob here. That knob is to pull it out. And this is the Darth Revan. I actually got this from Pack Store. They are an Ultimate Works company. But we will hook this thing up. So this here, what happens is they just plug in. So you just have to line it up correctly. You don't want to force it too much, I will say. Let's get it back in there. I usually don't have this much of an issue. All right, there we go. Well, at least I thought. There we go. Okay, so sorry about that. All right, so that plugs into there. Now you'll notice on that board there's no LED on it. So the LED, so there's no LEDs in here either. Now if you can see in there, there's just a little flat plate, couple little connectors on there, and then here is your blade. Now it looks just the same as the other polycarbonate blades, made out of the same stuff. However, this is where Neopixel is really the shining star of the lightsaber world. So this, you notice, there's no hole there. So it's not hollowed out. And that is because on the inside of this blade, it is threaded with LEDs. What that allows to happen is more of the shoot up the hilt motion, as well as the boards are actually programmable. So if you get into that, it's pretty frustrating from what I see with people when you're getting going, a little bit of a learning curve. But they are definitely worth messing with from what I've seen. I've seen people do so much cool stuff with Profis and Asterias. So this is going to be the thing you're going to probably wonder about the most going into this is, what do I want to do? Do I want to start small and go for an RGB single in-hilt LED, which I can't stress enough, don't go for that. We have so many better options now in lightsabers that you don't have to worry about that. I wouldn't. Go with an RGB or a Neopixel. So here we go. This is my Revan. Now you hold there. This one doesn't actually have light ups. It's a very inconspicuous button, and there's one on either side, and they both serve a function. Now, you notice it shot right up, and when you see, it goes right down. Very, very different. There's also a brightness difference, and obviously that's going to vary depending on what grade of blade you get. Obviously, the heavier the grade, the more confident you can be in dueling without messing it up. Now, with that said, RGB, since it's a hollow tube for the blade, I have zero problem just absolutely beating the crap out of those sabers. My Neopixel, now I had talked to plenty of people that say they use their Neopixels for dueling all the time. I am terrified because I don't want to pay for another blade, which is usually around $100-120. Depending on if there's a sale or whatever, but it's still more than I want to shell out because I hit it a little too hard. I know that I have a Bendu Armory, Neopixel coming, and they really market themselves as having the indestructible Neopixel blade, but regardless, I use Neopixels because I love them. It's just, there's nothing better than just Now, what I will say, the other thing, I talked about the lack of swing sensor on that single in-hilt LED. Now, the RGB here, this is an RGB, but it's also a smooth swing. And what that does is just it'll detect the smallest motions in your hand. You'll also get that in Neopixel. See? So, now, we get to the end here. You know the differences between the different types of sabers out there. I know Disney supposedly is coming out with a different one soon. From the rumors I've heard about it, I'm not too excited, and I would much rather, do it this way. So, let's do our best to light these up, all three of them. and then you can see the difference. I want to turn off some lights just to make sure we get a nice gauge. Now here is your, here, we'll do the single in-held LED. Single in-held LED. One thing I will say about ultra sabers, even though I just think their electronics are garbage, their speaker is actually pretty solid. So there you go on that. Here's your RGB. Little brighter. Little brighter. Now, here is your Neopixel. Now, you can definitely see the difference with the Neopixel. You can see it with the RGB. The single in-held, it isn't bad. It's just, you know, comparison to the other two, it's just not doing it. I will say, though, you know, let's turn these off. I also think that the single in-held LED, it just kind of shuts off. It does the sound for a second, and then it just kind of shuts off. I'm not a big fan of anything about those electronics besides the speaker that I just told you about. So that's it, guys. That is the differences between a single in-held LED. The Tri-Crees are just, you know, trying to get 3 times the juice to brighten up the blade a little bit. I don't actually own one of those because I just don't care. I'm so into RGBs and Neopixels now that I just don't care. So, you know, single in-held LED, RGBs, which is my highest recommendation if you're getting started. I think that nobody makes the choice that they actually want the first time out. They might, I mean, there are people that will. I see people getting their first saber and they get a Luke Skywalker or what have you. But, you know, I recommend RGBs. Their soundboards, I mean, it's solid. You know, you can battle as much as you want with those. You might crack the blade, but it's a $20 replacement. And I have hit those things as hard as I possibly can, and I have not cracked them. But I don't do a lot of dueling. So then there you go. And then the Neopixel, you've got it threaded through the blade with a more advanced soundboard that is programmable more often than not. So, you know, I hope that this helps with your decision making going forward. I see people suffering with this all the time, and I figured, you know, find this video as opposed to sitting there making an inquiry in some kind of social media forum and then having to wait for a response or getting a million different responses. So this is something that I've been doing for a little while now, and I've gone through trial and error. I've had good experiences and bad experiences, but those are your basic 3 options when you're going forward with your purchase. That is my Neopixel turning off. I am Aaron with the Rookie Geek. Guys, please like and subscribe. I would love to get my channel really going so I can just make more and more videos. I love you guys, and you have a great day.